Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harp on Rugby preview show. Joining me to look ahead to Leinster's URC semi-final is someone earning cap number 88. A warm welcome to Mr. Neil Keego Keegan.
88, how are we? Listen, I'm getting nervous. I don't know about you. We're getting to the double business end of the season. And so yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried now.
Yeah, I mean, as big as all as the Champions Cup is, I mean, the actual season could be over as of this Saturday. So there's the extra finality to it, I suppose. But listen, before we get to our match, Keego, we normally talk to you about your upcoming stand-up gigs at the end of the pod. But this week, I understand you have a charity event coming up, which sounds like a bit of a rip-off, but in a good way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great intro. So yeah, I kind of came up with this idea. Because we're going on the family holiday the end of this month, right? And as all men do, let myself go during the winter. And so to get myself ready, certain situations are going to have to happen to smoothen me out, if you like. I thought, why not do it for charity? So Pieta House do massive work. They do really great work for everybody. So I'm going to do, it's called the Big Wax. So I had initially started saying I'm going to sell off the wax strips like they are tickets for a raffle. But people are so interested in seeing me scream that they're just donating money. We've broken 200 already, which is fantastic. So yeah, if you want to donate, please do. And I'm going to live stream the bits I can live stream over through Instagram. So it's going to be great. You can all sit there and watch. You can laugh at my pain while knowing you've done something great for a great charity. So get involved.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds like an awesome cause, Keego. And if you want to contribute to his pain, as you can see right there, his head is just turned into a QR code, and you can just scan that and go to his page, and we'll give you some more links as well towards the end of the pod. So that's brilliant. Best of luck with that, sir.
Cheers. You'll hear the screams.
Absolutely. Well, next, I'd just like to welcome any South African viewers checking us out for the first time, especially if it's Demi and Delenda. Hopefully, you can enjoy the show, even if it doesn't quite have that emotional drive you might be used to. But listen, enjoy it all the same. Okay, listen, now it's time for our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Vodacom Bulls v Leinster in the semi-final of the 2023-24 United Rugby Championship. It's taking place at Loftus Versfeld on Saturday, June 15th, kicking off at 3 p.m. Irish time. TV coverage in Ireland is on RTE1. The Euros are pushing it over to RTE1. Look out for that. Premier Sports as well and URC.tv. And as ever, you can find the full listings for the weekend over at harponrugby.com. Just click the Rugby on TV tab. Leinster named their match day 23 at lunchtime on Friday. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there in the screen. Or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Now, I think your first point on the team, Keego, is about someone who's back.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about it forever. It seems quite a big chunk of this season. And what a game to put him back in. Gary Ringrose is back. Another leader is back. Absolute skill operator. And the good thing as well, we'll talk about the bench in a sec, but the person who has kind of taken over that jersey this year, Osborne, is still there. The confidence is there in the squad. So, but to have Ringrose coming back, I don't know if anyone, I think it got to the point where they were saying he's back, putting him on posters. We kind of thought maybe we'll get to the end of the year and then he'll be back next year. But it's great to see him back. He's looking good. He's looking strong, and it's a massive, massive day for him and the team. So we need the two lads working well there in the midfield because they've got a big, big challenge ahead of them.
Absolutely. I mean, when you take on a coach like Nienaber coming in, you expect some of that South African 20-dimensional chess or whatever it is they do with the selections. And it's true, like since the knockout stages, since the Six Nations, we've gone with a primary center pairing of Henshaw and Osborne. Osborne's done really well now. Yeah. And I think there's been a lot of talk about Ringrose coming back. They kind of did a bit of a fake out last week against Ulster, saying he was ready, and then he wasn't in the 23. This week, we all expected him to be on the bench. We thought he'd be wearing the 23 jersey, but they put him straight into the starting lineup, which might have visions of the Bulls coaches all scrambling to go back to their other playbooks for them, because I mean it's always a risk. It's coming back from injury, especially something like a shoulder injury when you're in charge of defense and you're making the big tackles. But Ringrose is such a good footballing brain, and he's just naturally slots into these positions. So it'll be he's one of the names you can see going into the side for sure. Okay, so your second point is about the bench.
Yeah, so just following on from what we were talking about, it's a great vote of confidence that the bench is there, and I think they might have been expecting 6-2 or you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff going to South Africa, South African big men. We're going to go there to play ball, it looks like, which is great. Now, again, we're in a cup final situation, I feel, so I think lessons will be learned from the the Investec final. But I do feel we're there to play ball. I do think it's a really strong kind of live. It's sitting in there with what we want to see from the team in terms of how they play. But there's also kicking threats all over that pitch as well, which is great. You know, we keep forgetting Ringrose has a boot on him. Obviously, Henshaw has a boot on him. So there's kicking threats from all over this pitch. So it's great. I am equal parts nervous and equal parts looking forward to it based on the selection.
Yeah, definitely. And we might have thought that they would go with the 6-2 bench. I definitely assumed they would, with the South African team, a lot of forwards, and also we have to remember that the altitude and the last 20 minutes on the lungs and all that kind of stuff. But like you say, this looks like a team that wants to go out there and maybe build a lead anyway, and be attacking and creative, and maybe build a lead that'll make that last 20-30 minutes maybe not as important. That might be the hope. We saw last week they gave the sub out half duties to Sam Prendergast, and we all know he did really well with those for like 10 or so minutes towards the end. But Frawley also played, and this week they've entrusted the backup duties to him. So with him and Osborne, they both cover almost the whole back line there. It's brilliant, and it's loads of different options there. And it's also possible we may not see Luke McGrath at all. Gibson Park might play the full game, but there's plenty of options there. And we haven't really spoken about the forwards much. Ryan is the captain. The one thing I noticed about this is that we started the season supposedly with co-captains. We haven't had the chance to get the two of them back in the team at the same time to see what they do. And now they've just gone James Ryan as captain. I think that's good. Yeah. I think that's good. Just one guy dealing with the ref, and that's fine. And it's the standard pack that that's practically pretty much our elite pack. Obviously against South African forwards, you need it, and there's plenty of beef coming off the bench as well. So it's just loads to look forward to. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing as well? I keep forgetting the Baird is in there again, and just for pure athletics, and he can switch into the second row as well. I think he is going to be the guy who will find a couple of inches that he can make count. I think he's got the footwork. I think he's got the one step acceleration, if you like, similar to a Sean O'Brien back in the day, where he can leave people for dust. And I think that's where we can get through the Bulls.
Absolutely. He does a lot of work around the pitch. He can get a turnover for you. He's a good line out option. But like you say, if he does get a bit of space, he goes on his rampage and he just tears up the pitch. And it's a beautiful sight to see. All right. Okay, so now it's time to have a look at the Vodacom Bulls. Now, we last played them at the end of March when we beat them handily enough at the RDS. But of course, not only did they finish second in the URC, one spot ahead of us, which is why they have the home advantage. But they also pipped us by a point in that infamous 2022 semifinal at the RDS. Although Benetton really did put it to them last weekend in their quarterfinal. So what do you make of them, Keego?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously they're a massive team. They're a really, really great team. Finished second, obviously much deserved. That's we are where we deserve to be as well. But I think last week it showed something between the ears that I would hope Leinster don't have, in that it was the occasion, maybe it was thinking too far ahead, as teams sometimes do, and you could see that it did affect them, and it did take a little bit of time for them to get back. Something like that, it was a very, very, very close game, and if they find themselves in a similar position and they can't fight back the way they did last week, and it did take them quite a while, then I feel it maybe showed a little bit of frailty that you get when you're kind of relatively new to the business end of a league season. I know South African teams are only here a couple of years, but I do feel there's a lot of pressure on Leinster. But this is the home team; they're expected to get out there and perform and to win and get a blue scalp. I feel if it's tight early, 20 minutes is going to be massive. I feel we're going to see them kind of retreat a wee bit. They're going to disappear into their own heads a little bit, and if they can't fight through that, I think there's a good score in this for Leinster.
Yeah, I mean, I think between the ears is the key there. I mean, I joked at the start about Damien Dowande and what he said. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, you talk about things that people say in between matches that the coaches can pin on the dressing room. Well, I think there's been so much said in the Irish media and the South African media that there's not enough room on the walls of the dressing rooms for all that was said. But your attitude, that idea, what he does say about being emotionally driven, that is important. And that's crucial for big semifinals like this. And you have to say, from Leinster's point of view, if they can't be emotionally driven for just a semifinal anyway, but specifically have, after our history with the Bulls and another semifinal last year, what happened in London, the expectations, all that stuff, plus the fact that we haven't sent a full strength team to South Africa yet. That was our own choice, and we paid the price and the results. But this is our first chance, and we want to see them play like they know that this is our elite team, and this is what we can actually do when we go with our best team. So it's all about there's tactics, and you can have tactics till the end of the day, but once they're on the pitch, it's how they come together and play. Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to say the emotion thing is massive. So like it's finding that balance. We can't Emotion won't get us through 80 plus minutes. So it's got to be that right balance. We can't Emotion will lead to bad decisions, as we know in real life. So we need to control that. We need to execute far better than we have. I'd say since the La Rochelle game, execution hasn't quite been where it should be. There's been patches of it, but we need to get there and a little bit above it to really, almost take the emotion out of it and be merciless, be relentless, be non-stop, be surgical about this thing. Because, the Bulls aren't here to play. We're not showing up to play around. They're not there to play around. So we've got to be precise and surgical at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, because the Bulls have plenty of options there that can hurt us. Willie LaRue is test fullback. You've got Grobar, who was, I think, player of the match in that semi-final a couple of years ago, and then their back rows. Well, any South African back row is going to be tough, but Elric Lowe in particular has been strong for them, and they'll have a strong bench as well. So there's lots to worry about, but I do think that we can match them at least in every position. Okay, so let's have a look at the officials there. As you can see, it's Sam Grove White from Scotland has the whistle with some Scots and Welsh assistants there. Now, the weather for Pretoria on Saturday afternoon is listed at the moment as nice with plenty of sun. Now, it's not often I get to say that. Half the games we do in these previews are in Dublin, and I don't think I've ever said that about a game in Dublin. 23 degrees. It's an afternoon, little or no wind, 0% rain. I don't think I've ever said that either for a game in Dublin. So it looks like it's going to be perfect conditions, but in the middle of the afternoon. So they're going to have to watch it with that altitude and all that stuff, especially coming in the second half. But that's that. Hopefully that doesn't play too much of a part on the day. Okay, now we're going to have a quick look at the other semi-final, which is at Thomond Park with Munster hosting Glasgow Warriors. Now, the league is billing this as the resumption of a long-standing rivalry. What do you make of it, Keego?
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff coming out from Munster during the week, it relating to the coach and O'Mahony and all this sort of stuff. This is the time where, and listen, we said it last week, we say it again this week. We want Munster to win, and we want to play Munster in the final. That's what we want. So Munster need to make sure that their heads are right, because we talked about emotion a few minutes ago. Munster use that emotion, but emotion doesn't get you 80 plus minutes in a cup semi-final. So they too have to have leaders on the pitch. They can't have captains throwing straps on the sideline. They have to show up. They have to be ready to rock. Our Munster brothers and sisters need to fill that stadium from early. I think it's a dinner time kickoff, so they need to get the chips in early and get down there and fill it up, make it noisy. Because I think if with what's been going on during the week, I think they need to start off well. They need to start off strong. If they don't, that's when the problems are going to start, similar to the game in South Africa. So listen, hope Munster win. Let's see how they do it.
Yeah, indeed. I think they're strong favorites for that, and maybe the league as well. They earned the first place in the table. They earned the home advantage, and they got to get the most out of that. They're on a form. They've won a whole string of matches at this time of the season. They clicked exactly when it matters, same as they did last year. So they'll be expected to win. Not that Glasgow. Glasgow overcame the Stormers. I didn't expect that. I thought the Stormers might win out there, but of course they had Libak missing a few kicks, and Stormers have been maybe disappointing on the road at times. But Glasgow, they took their chances, and if they're given a chance, you never know. They've had a strong season themselves, so that could be interesting. But I would fancy a home win there. Okay, listen, can't leave it any longer, Len. It's time to put your head on the block. How do you see it going at Loftus?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think it's 5 points. It's Leinster +5.
Yeah, you you hate to be too confident with the way things have gone, but like I say, if we can go with the attitude, we have the attitude right from the kickoff. We survived the journey down there and got our training right, got over the trip and everything, and get yourselves ready for kickoff time. They could have enough to do it, but it definitely won't be easy. And it could be like you say, it could be a score in it either way. Okay, so listen, we're going to leave it there, man. Many thanks for joining us, and as well as that waxing, what stand-up gigs do you have coming up?
So
if you're still able to stand.
If I'm able to stand. So I have 2 gigs next week in the middle of town, all on KeegoLaughs.com, building up to the big shows in the Mermaid Theatre and 2 in the Mill Theatre this summer. So it's all there, but let's get involved. Let's wax a bald man, which is a weird sentence. Let's do it for charity. But yeah, no, great to talk to you.
Absolutely. Please follow those links. And yeah, thanks again. And you'll find all those links in the program notes. Okay, so thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. If you can also tune into Dublin South 93.9 FM around 5 p.m. on Friday for our harp and rugby segment, then be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are. You can follow us on all the usual social media channels. We will, of course, have a wrap pod for you this week, recording on Sunday evening. And hopefully you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.